The former definition of capitalism is a system in which individuals and private parties control the means of production, and profits are the key driver of economic activity. And it's important to note that within a closed system with no new variables, capitalism's success can almost exclusively be measured by the velocity of money. The classic example is the farmer and the mechanic. This tiny economy has $50 total. The farmer trades $50 to the mechanic for tractor repair, and then the mechanic trades $40 for corn from the farmer, and then buys a barn cat for $10 from the farmer. And in this cycle, $100 has changed hands, so the velocity of money is measured as 2. This is calculated as the velocity within a time period equals the total sum of transactions over the total of money in that economy. In a larger modern economy, the classic way to increase the velocity of money is to reduce interest rates, but when spending becomes reckless and leads to higher prices and reduced currency value, the classic move is to make borrowing more expensive. Governments around the world either control or have a lot of influence in interest rates, and some people think that because of this, the Federal Reserve should be abolished. And nobody could predict exactly what would happen if the Federal Reserve was abolished, but it would almost certainly result in a lot of turbulence in the market that would leave a lot of victims in its wake around the world.
A really useful way to understand how wealth is distributed is to stop using money as a commodity and use something that people actually use or consume. Let's say a can of Coke Zero from a 12-pack. A person with $100,000 in a traditional investment fund like Vanguard would come out to about 312,000 cans of Coke Zero in 2019. That same investment, untouched, is worth about 330,000 cans of Coke Zero now. So sweet. 18,000 cans of Coke Zero for free. Now, on the other hand, a person working for minimum wage full-time in Iowa would have made 43,360 cans per year before taxes in 2019. Today, in 2025, they're making 22,177 cans. Somehow, this person got a 49% wage cut, while the person with the market fund got free soda. Amazingly, through the miracle of inflation, the money decreases in value for everyone, while the actual wealth itself moves up to the top.
Value would crash. All net worth does is obfuscate things. Cash is only powerful when you're broke, and it's only valuable when you need or want something that you otherwise couldn't get without cash. What I instead want my viewers to be concerned with is your personal levels of power or control over the things that you earn, consume, and trade. In 1996, the US stock market had around 8,000 companies listed, and since then, our economy has grown by over $25 trillion, and now our stock market boasts nearly 4,000 companies. In that same period of time, the number of listed companies around the world went from around 24,000 to 51,000. So what is happening here? Why would our variety of public securities drop by 50% while the rest of the world's doubled? The term, especially since 2020, in almost all cases, investment is not attracted to innovation or profitability, but to business models that act as a middleman offering subscriptions to products or services you would otherwise buy directly. For example, software, movies, video games, parcel, pizza delivery, headphones, cell phones, groceries, clothing, underwear, heated car seats, pregnancy. A rent-based economy has always been present in real estate, but if you're an American homeowner, then you've probably had an annoying amount of investment groups asking if you'd like to sell your house. And it's not unusual for those investment groups to pay over market value for single-family homes. It also shouldn't surprise you to hear that homeownership has been declining, particularly for millennials, with nearly 2 out of 3 people under the age of 40 being renters. Many argue that this is primarily due to inflation and sluggish wage increases, but the cost-to-income ratio has risen for renters and dropped for homeowners. The wealth gap between renters and homeowners has widened by over 50% in the last decade. In lower and middle class households, white people are nearly 2 times more likely to be homeowners than people of color, meaning that younger minority groups are likely to be increasingly disproportionately punished in the future when you take all of this data into consideration. Profit, and even money itself, is only really valuable when it buys power. And if a societal system can be engineered to gain power without profit or money, capitalism begins to exist as something to exploit within that system under its umbrella. It sounds hyperbolic, but it needs to be said a lot more often. Most of us do not realize that we are in a constant battle with billionaires who don't want us to own things, but rent them. And when we don't own things, we lose control over our own budgets, lives, decisions, and ultimately our own destinies. Here's a pertinent example. Did somebody that you know send you a link to this video, or did you type in Ben Jordan new video and find it that way? Or was it recommended to you by an algorithm? Or was it placed on your sidebar? Or did it autoplay when another video ended? This next and final chapter is very much about the type of transaction that you and I are having right now. Me working without benefits, guaranteed pay, or protections to make something to use as bait to get you to either watch targeted advertisements or pay $14 a month without even being offered a chance to indefinitely play the video file offline on your own device. And while you do that, your every move is being harvested for data to empower the company. Let's take a look at this definition again and let me know how well it describes our little transaction here. Capitalism is formally described as an economic system in which individuals and private parties control the means of production, and profits are the key driver of economic activity.